Yes, sir, visible. PPT visible.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay. Today we are going to discuss data collection method. This is very, very important. Okay. Let's take the research. Let's take research. Almost all activities are independent, dependent activity, not independent activity. Let's take problem formulation. Based on the problem formulation, review of literature might be prepared. Based on review of literature, research gap might be identified. Based on research gap, research problem might be identified. Based on the research problem, research methodology part will be identified. That is a research design might be identified. Okay. The research design consists of three important things. One is a sampling design, another one is a questionnaire design. The next one is data collection design. Okay. Even if we commit mistake in any one other part, it will have its own impact on the results of the study. Okay. Whatever we do, finally, what is the end result? End result is then we should give the results to the policy makers for taking some important policy implications. So we should be very careful with regard to each and every step. Once we do this, it's very, very simple. Normally, scholar might ask the question, sir, which one is very tough? Whether it's a data analysis or even let's take the other parts. Let's take a review of literature, writing introduction, say for example, construction of the questionnaire. This is very, very important. Once you know the nuances, rest of the thing is very simple. Normally we can, whenever we do research, either it could be finance or either it could be marketing or either it could be human resource management, we need some data. We need some data, then only we can process the data. Once processed, we can process the data with the help of some statistical tool. Either it could be t-test or either it could be one-way ANOVA or either it could be two-way ANOVA, ANOCOVA, MONOCOVA, discriminant analysis, conjoint analysis, cluster analysis. Finally, we can get some output. Normally, there are two types of data. Now, researcher can get two types of data. One is primary data, another one is secondary data. What is primary data? Primary data are those data which are collected by the researcher for the first time to their own research. Is known as primary data. For example, I would like to do research. I would like to do research on a particular topic, emotional intelligence of bank employees. Emotional intelligence of bank employees. I have prepared a questionnaire and I have collected data from the bank employees. So this is an example for primary data. What is secondary data? Secondary data are those data which are already collected by somebody else. Already collected by somebody else. Now you are going to use the same data for your research. When you use the same data for your research, it is said to be secondary. It is said to be secondary data. Normally, let's take classification of the. Normally, let's take classification of the data. Normally, let's take classification of the data. Research data can be classified into two types. One is a primary data, another one is a secondary data. Okay. Even let's take a primary data. Primary data can be classified into two types. One is a qualitative data, another one is a quantitative data. One is qualitative data, another one is quantitative data. Today we are going to discuss how quantitative data can be collected, what is qualitative data, how qualitative data can be collected, what are the major difference between qualitative data and quantitative data, what are the nuances are to be followed while collecting qualitative and quantitative data. This is what we are going to discuss. Okay, so primary data can be classified into two types. One is primary data, another one is quantitative. That is, primary data can be classified into two types: qualitative data and another one is quantitative data. Okay, so let's take a qualitative data. Qualitative data can be collected by different methods. Okay, similarly, let's take quantitative data. Quantitative data can be collected by survey method. Survey. Say, for example, you can prepare a questionnaire, you can collect this data. Similarly, you can also do the observation method. This is also very, very important. For example, let's take you like to collect data with regard to the traffic flow in a heart of Bangalore city. How you can collect the data? That is not possible. So what you can do, you can observe. Similarly, you like to observe, you like to know the behavioral pattern of the particular group of people, how students behave inside the class, how students behave during function, how students behave during cinema theater. Okay, now how you can collect data? Even though it's a primary data, you can use that is you can collect the data with the help of observation method. Similarly, let's take other one data, that is a experiment data. Experiment data means, say for example, normally this will comes under casual research. Okay, simply even if you take this, let's take, you might have seen the research design. A research design can be classified into two types. One is a conclusive, another one is a non-conclusive. Okay, let's take a conclusive. Under conclusive, descriptive research will come. Another one important descriptive research. Another one is casual research will come. Okay, let's take a descriptive research. How descriptive research can be? How descriptive research data can be collected? If your study is a descriptive research, you can employ. You can collect data through survey or observation method. Let's take casual research. Then say for example, you can collect this data through experiment. Similarly, let's take exploratory study. That is a non-conclusive study, means this kind of data can be collected only through the qualitative data. Qualitative data. This is the essence of this slide. Okay. Now let's take primary and secondary data. Okay. What is the purpose of collecting primary data? Then say for example, for your own problem, you're going to collect primary data. Whereas let's take secondary data. Already the secondary data has been collected. What is the collection process? Let's take, if you want to collect primary data, and probably it's a lengthy one, it's a time consuming one. Similarly, let's take secondary data. Already the data has been collected. Already the data has been collected by somebody else. Even for information, there is a database, CMI, Center for Monitoring Indian Economy. Then even PROVESS, then they have some database called PROVESS, PROWESS. Even you, for example, you like to collect 40 years of dividend history of a particular organization. You can collect within a minute. Similarly, let's take, you want gross profit, you want net profit, you want profit before tax, you want profit after tax, you want operating profit, you want EBIT, earnings before interest and tax. You want all the profit, you want balance sheet, profit and loss account, cash flow statement, fund flow statement, whatever it may be, you can able to collect within a minute, because already the data has been stored. Okay, so then say for example, it's not a time consuming one. Similarly, let's take cost involved. In case of primary data, probably you need to spend huge money for collecting data. Whereas let's take secondary data. For collecting secondary data, you do not spend money. Even you can join any one of the, you can, let's take higher level institution. Almost all higher level institutions have subscribed this, that is PROVESS or some other online database. You can be a member by paying 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees. Okay, then you can get the secondary data. It's not a problem. Another one important thing, collection time. It's a long. Let's take secondary data. It's very short. So that is the time involved. Okay. Now let's take. You may ask the question: what are the uses of secondary data? With the help of secondary data, you can identify the problem. Don't think that normally most of the scholar thinking that secondary data means it's only the balance sheet, profit and loss account, stock exchange related data. It's not like that. Even let's take an introduction of the research paper. It is also secondary data. Review of literature, it is also secondary data. Previous studies results, it's also secondary data. Okay. So what are the uses of secondary data? You can identify the problem. Once you have a data, then you can identify the problem. Okay. So say similarly, you can also define the problem more accurately. That is also very, very important. Unless you don't have a data, you cannot define the problem. Similarly, you can also develop the approach. to the problem. Normally, we have seen two types of research approach has been followed by the researchers. One is an inductive approach, another one is a deductive approach. You have a sufficient data. Once you have a sufficient data, what you can do is you can develop either independent, you can develop inductive or deductive approach. Okay, depends upon the problem. Okay, similarly, you can also formulate appropriate research design. Already we have seen what is research design. Research design is nothing but blueprint for the research. Okay, so you have a secondary data. With the help of secondary data, what you have a secondary data. With the help of secondary data, what you can do is you can identify the key variable. That is, key variable means you can identify independent variable. You can also identify dependent variable. If we take some research paper published by Scopus indexed journals or Web of Science indexed journal, at the end of the research, at the end of the article, and they will give their research instrument. That is a questionnaire. So simply what you can do, you can go through the if you already have developed the construct. Okay, if any one other variable is related to your construct, you can draw those variables. You can make use of this data. Okay, for your study. This is also possible in case of secondary data. Similarly, you can answer certain research question. You can also test some hypothesis. Say, for example, you would like to normally how hypothesis to be developed. What is hypothesis? Hypothesis is nothing but it's a tentative or temporary assumption about the population. This is said to be hypothesis. It's a tentative assumption about the study population. For example, I have some assumption. Normally, when we ask who is studying very well, either male or female, somebody may say male, somebody may say female. This is their own idea. This is their own perception. Okay. So how we can draw the conclusion? We can collect data. We can collect data from the field. Finally, we can administer any one of the statistical tool. Finally, we can come to the conclusion whether who is studying well, who has studied well, male or female, based on the data. Okay, so hypothesis. Okay, answer certain questions at the same time. You can also develop hypothesis based on the secondary data. For example, I cannot develop hypothesis on my own. Hypothesis can be developed based on the theoretical support, or based on the secondary data. I have seen several scholars, simply they will create a hypothesis. There is no significant difference between age of the respondents and the traveling time. That's not correct. There must be some logic. How you can get this logic? You can get this logic from the secondary data. Similarly, you can also interpret primary data more in what does mean by this interpret primary data more let's take a research paper. We have written a research paper column. Now people are a column. So what is the discussion? Some study conducted by some authors. Their study might find something. You can also compare and you can also contrast. This is possible in case of secondary data. Okay. What are the examples of secondary data? Let's take vital statistics, birth-related data, death-related data. For example, let's take how birth-related data and death-related data plays important role in decision making. Let's take in some countries. If you take the demographic profile, if you take total population, among the total population, let's take a young population. Then number of young population or the percentage of young population is very less in some countries. Say, for example, 10% or 20%. In such circumstances, what are the policy decision can be taken by the government? Probably they may introduce the technology because the population, young population is very less. They cannot do, let's take a older population, even though they have a talent, even though they have a knowledge. Okay, they cannot work, they cannot do their physical work. In such circumstances, the government can plan everything differently. Similarly, you can also get data, say for example, hospital data, clinic related data. Similarly, let's take private organization has some database. Even the government has some database. Even then CSO, that is a Central Statistical Organization, has some data. Even let's take weather. Even based on the secondary data, we can also predict the future future data. Okay, let's take, you have a secondary data. Okay, you like to use secondary data. Whether you can use the secondary data as it is? No, we should not use the secondary data as it is. Before using secondary data, we should ask some queries. For example, you have purchased some vegetables for cooking. Before cooking, at least you have to check whether the vegetable is clean. Then you should remove some unwanted part. You can add something. Then you will make use of the vegetable for your cooking purpose. Similarly, let's take secondary data. First, you should identify what is the methodology used to collect the data. There is research methodology used to collect the data. For example, sometimes they may not use any research methodology for collecting data. In such circumstances, that data is not good. We should not use those data. That is a purpose why, let's take funding agencies. There are several funding agencies, are there ICSSR, UGC, NHRC, National Human Rights Commission, National Commission for Women, even let's take Tamil Nadu Science and Technology, then TNST. There are several funding agencies are there. They are focusing more on the research methodology because we are going to take decision based on the end result. So first we have to check the methodology part. Next one is accuracy of the data. This is very, very important. Accuracy of the data we have to check. Okay. What is meant with them? Accuracy of the data. Once you follow the research methodology properly, definitely your data could be accurate. Another one important thing, currency. Currency in the sense, when data has been followed. When data has been followed. Say, for example, sometime the secondary data might have been collected 200 years ago. Now we cannot use the use those secondary data. Next one is objectives. What is the objectives? What is the purpose for which the data were collected? What is the purpose? Whether the data were collected by government or whether the data were collected by the private people, or what is the purpose? Next one, what is the content of the data? Sometimes whether the data has full almost all the content. Another one important thing, credibility of the data. Credibility of the data. What is credibility? Say, for example, if government has collected data, naturally we can it will have some credible one. Okay, so we have to ensure the credibility of the data. Okay, now let's take secondary data. Let's take a secondary data. Secondary data can be classified into several types. One is internal data, another one is external data. Okay, that means already you might have generated some data within your organization. This data is internal data. Internal data can be classified into two types: ready to use, require further processing. What is ready to use? Already the data will be there. You can make use of those data. What is require further processing? Then this kind of data require some further processing. For example, you need sales related data. So you can get the sales related data immediately. That is ready to use. For example, you would like to calculate dividend yield ratio. One organization, for example, made an announcement in the daily newspaper stating that we are very proud to declare 400% dividend to the shareholder. Okay, immediately everybody think that it's good, but as a policy maker, you are supposed to analyze that data. So you are asking, you'd like to check, okay, whether it's good or bad. Finally, you have calculated dividend yield ratio. What is the dividend yield ratio formula? Say, for example, dividend per share. This is one of the data. Dividend per share. Another one is market price per share. Dividend price per share. Another one is market price per share. Okay. So, what is the dividend per share? For example, 5 rupees. What is the market price per share? 1000 rupees. See, 5 rupees. 5 divided by 1000 into 100. When you put, you will get only 1 or 2% as a dividend. So you need this kind of information. Okay, how this kind of information you can get when you process the data? Already you have a data. When you process the 2 or 3 data further, you can get this kind of information. Similarly, you can also let's take external data. There are several published materials are there. Government has published several reports. SEBI has published several reports. RBI has published several reports. You can make use of those reports for your study purpose. Similarly, computerized database. There are several computerized database has been used by the researchers. Say, for example, EBSCOhost, Emerald, Insight.com, JKit. There are several computerized databases are available. Okay. Similarly, let's take syndicated services. Okay. What is syndicated services? And I will explain what is syndicated services in the subsequent slide. External data. Okay. These are the example for external data. External data. External data means what is external data? External data are the data generated by source outside the organization. Okay. Say, for example, published material, guides, directories, indexes. There is indexes in stock market. Let's take stock market indices, BS index, NSE index, then statistical data, census, and other government publications. These things will come under external data. Okay. What is syndicated services? What is syndicated services? Syndicated services are companies that collect and sell common pool of data of known commercial value designed to serve a number of clients. Okay, that means actually this some data might be collected by companies. They will have some pool of data. They will sell the this data to their clients. Okay, they can also collect this data from individual. They can also collect this data from individual, as well as they can also collect this data from industrial unit. Okay, so this is the syndicated data. Syndicated data means they may collect private. Let's take a private organization. And their main intention is to sell the data. They might collect this kind of data from the different sources. They will sell. Okay, even let's take Probus. Probus is the best example for syndicated database. Okay, now just I would like to recapitulate what we discussed so far. We have seen what is primary data and what is secondary data. Okay, again we have seen what are the various ways by which primary data can be collected. Primary data can be collected by 2 different methods. One is a qualitative data, another one is a quantitative data. Next we have seen secondary data. Okay. Next we have seen what is secondary data, what are the various uses of secondary data, what are the sources by which secondary data can be collected. Next we have seen what are the criteria are to be used to before using the secondary data. We have seen when data has been collected, where then credibility of the data collection method. Another one important thing, say for example, who has collected the data, whether the research methodology aspect has been properly followed. We have seen this aspect. Okay. Now next let's take quantitative data. Primary data, and there are 2 types of primary data. One is a quantitative data, another one is a qualitative data. Okay. Now let's take quantitative data. How quantitative data can be collected? Quantitative data can be collected through a questionnaire method. Normally, questionnaire method or interview schedule method. Okay, this is termed as survey. Normally, quantitative data can be collected with the help of survey. Okay, say for example, survey means there are several methods. Normally, survey means we have used several methods. One may be telephone survey, another one may be personal survey, another one may be mail. We can send a mail to the respondents. Then we can collect data. Similarly, we can also collect the data through electronic way. Okay. Say for example, now let's just I would like to discuss the survey method. What is survey method? Survey method means what? Then you can issue the structured questionnaire given to sample of population and designed to elicit a specific information from the respondent. Okay. So what is mean by the term survey? Survey means you have a question, you have prepared a structured questionnaire. What is structured questionnaire? You have let's take a questionnaire. Questionnaire consists of three important component. Questionnaire consists of three important component. Questionnaire consists of three important component. The first part of the questionnaire talks about independent demographic profile of the respondent. Second part of the questionnaire talks about independent variable. Third part of the questionnaire talks about dependent variable. Okay, you have prepared a structured questionnaire. Then you have prepared some introduction aspect about your questionnaire. Say, for example, just you have introduced yourself. I am so and so working in the particular organization for the bit of this. Okay, you have also mentioned the purpose, and then you have requested the participants or respondents to give their opinion about the particular questionnaire. Okay, this is a structured questionnaire. Okay, so in what you can do, you can distribute the structured questionnaire to the respondents. You can collect specific data. Okay, whenever we distribute the structured questionnaire to the respondent, you should identify the proper respondent. This is very, very important. If you have identified improper respondent, simply what they will do is simply they will give they may assign 5 for all the variables, demographic profile, or independent or dependent variable. This is termed as a unengaged. These respondents are termed as an unengaged respondent. Okay. Similarly, you can also collected this data through a telephone administered survey. Already you have prepared the questionnaire, but you cannot go and reach the customers. In such circumstances, what you can do is you can collect this data through telephone administered survey. Similarly, there is another one technique recently used. You might have aware about this technique, mall intercept interview. Okay, what is meant by the term mall intercept interview? A mall intercept interview is a face-to-face interview. Shoppers are stopped and asked to complete a survey. Mall intercept interviews share the advantages in home interviews. Okay, that means what is mall intercept interview? You have then say, for example, normally the manufacturer or the wholesaler or retailer wanted to collect some data from the customers. What they can do is they can collect the data after availing services. Say, sometimes customer the
Hello, excuse me, sir. Sir, actually, your voice is breaking.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. It is audible, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay. Whether you can see the PowerPoint presentation, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Telephone, let's take telephone survey. Telephone survey or telephone interviews are less expensive than face-to-face interview. It's more suitable for collecting. You can also collect more number of data. Okay. At the same time, say for example, I don't want to explain advantages. It's self-explanatory one. Okay. Similarly, let's take. You can also administer the self-administered questionnaire. You can collect the primary data by way of self-administered questionnaire. Okay. What is self-administered questionnaire? Say for example, a self-administered survey, the respondent in their own time without the presence of the interviewer. Just you can meet the respondent. You can explain the purpose of your research, and you can distribute the questionnaire. Okay. So what the respondents will do without the intervention of the researcher, then the respondents will take their own free time. They will fill the questionnaire and they might return the questionnaire. This is a self-administered survey. This is very popular method of data. This is one of the very popular method of data collection. Next one is mail survey. Now let's take earlier respondents. Normally people will send this information through postal. They will give even they will also attach some stamp for returning of the questionnaire. Now we are in the technology era. Now people have sent the data. People have sent the questionnaire through mail. So now most of the people have not used this method. This method has been outdated. Similarly, let's take mail panel survey. This is another one important method of data collection, particularly primary data. What is a mail panel survey? A mail panel survey is a questionnaire sent to a group of individuals who have agreed to participate in advance. This is said to be mail panel survey. What is mail panel survey? For example, government would like to collect some data. For example, government, let's take during the COVID, the government wants to check the effect of the COVID injection. So in such circumstances, they are asking for all interested. You can register your name, and you will be called, and you will be tested with a medicine. Okay. So this is an example for a mail panel survey. What is mail panel survey? A mail panel survey is a questionnaire sent to a group of individuals who agrees to participate in advance. Okay. So even let's say can be tested prior to study. Even when you adopt this method, you can get high response rate because the respondents are willing, or the respondents come forward voluntarily. Similarly, you can also use the same thing for longitudinal research. This month, for example, now you can collect the data if you want to measure the changes of the people, or changes in the sense customer perception. Next year, you can also collect the data from the same person because they are willing, they are interested. Okay. Okay. So this is the mail panel. These people are interested. Okay. Similarly, let's take, you can also collect data through the observation method. Okay. What is observation? What is meant by the term observation method? For example, certain things can be collected. Let's say for certain things can be explained. Certain things can be experienced. So we cannot collect all the data through questionnaire method itself. We can collect some data through observation. What is observation? Observation involves recording the behavioral pattern of the people, behavioral pattern of the object, or behavioral pattern of the event in a systematic manner to obtain information about the phenomenon of interest. So these things can be, you can calculate this with the help of observations. Already we discussed. Say for example, you would like to know the behavior of the people inside the commercial establishment. Okay. So this you can collect this kind of data through observation method. Okay, this is an example of observation method. See, then one researcher is observing. Based on this, he can collect data. Even let's take based on this picture, you can observe. See, is not interested in taking the particular milk. Okay. Similarly, let's take, there are observation can be classified into several types. Okay. One is a structured observation. One is a structured. One is a okay. Normally, before discussing this, under what circumstances you can use observation method? Everyone should aware about this. For example, you want to know the physical actions. You want to know the physical action, that is consumers shopping pattern or digital tracking pattern on the website. You can make use of this observation method. Sometimes, say for example, you would like to know the expressive behavior. What is expressive behavior? For example, you wanted to know the tone of the customer while purchasing the product and facial expression of the customer. Sometimes if the customer is disappointed, they will pull their long head. Okay, so in such circumstances, you can use the observation method. Similarly, let's take verbal behavior. What is verbal behavior? Just you would like to collect the data with regard to the phone conversation. How people have communicated their idea with regard to their product through phone. Either it could be mobile or either it could be some traditional phone. You can use this method, that is observation method. Okay. Similarly, say for example, a temporal behavioral pattern. What is temporal behavioral pattern? Amount of time spent on shopping online on a particular website. For example, how much you wanted to know how much time has been spent by the customers for online shopping or offline shopping. You cannot collect, you cannot ask or you cannot collect this kind of data from the customers directly. Instead, you can observe and you can collect. Similarly, say for example, you wanted to check number of vehicles that move through traffic lights or movement of people at the theme park. You would like to know how many people, let's take there are several theme parks are available. Okay. Just you would like to know the traffic movement of the theme park. How many people are visited? How many people are visited in the early morning at 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, evening time? So these things can be, then you cannot collect data by way of administering questionnaire method. You can collect this data simply observing observation method. Okay. Normally, let's take observation. Observation can be classified into different methods. Say, for example, what is structured observation? What is structured observation? In case of structured observation, the researcher specify the detail what is to be observed, how the measurement are to be recorded. For example, just I am explaining what I am going to observe you. It is a structured observation. For example, an auditor performing inventory analysis in a store is an example for structured. So it's an example for structured observation. Okay. What is unstructured observation? In case of unstructured observation, the observer or the researcher monitor all aspects of the phenomena that seems relevant to the problem at hand. Say, for example, just example, observing children playing with a new toys. Just you would like to collect data. Okay, so you have purchased some new toys. Okay, just you are observing how the child is playing with the toys, whether she is enjoying, what is the reactions. Then, so this is an example for unstructured observation. Compared with structured and unstructured information, when you adopt unstructured, when you collect data by way of unstructured observation, you can get a lot of insight compared with structured observations. Similarly, let's take, you can also collect data through the natural observations. Okay, so what is natural observation? Natural observation involves observing behavior at the natural environment. Say, for example, one could observe the behavior of the respondent eating fast food at any one of the hotel. Okay. Say for example, what is natural observation? Natural observation means you can observe the people during the natural environment. How she is taking food in the hotel, how she is taking food in their home. How, let's take how she is reading the book in the library. This is an example for natural observation. Okay, let's take contrived observation. What is this? Respondent's behavior is observed in artificial environment. Artificial environment. Say, for example, sometimes we can create some virtual reality. In case of virtual reality, then probably the participants might be observed during the virtual reality. Okay. There are different method has been used by the researcher for observation. One is a personal observation. That is personal observation means the person can either use structured observation, or person means then researcher can use structured observation or unstructured observation or natural observation for collecting primary data. Similarly, second one is mechanical observation. What is mechanical? What is meant by the term mechanical? What is meant by the term mechanical observation? Okay. What is meant by the term mechanical observation? Mechanical observation. Okay. And then say, for example, I think one other participant asking question, what is contrived observations? Okay. In case of contrived observation, the respondent's behavior is observed in artificial environment. For example, some situations will be given to the respondents. You are there in the 5-star hotel. You are there in the 5-star hotel. Okay. So see, food has been served before you. How you are supposed to take a food? In such circumstances, their behavior is something different. Whereas if it is a natural observations, you can know the real behavior compared with contrived observations, or otherwise some virtual situations might be created. Okay, based on the virtual situations, and then you may be asking the respondents to behave or to take some decisions. Okay, so say for example, normally this technique has been used in the qualitative data. For example, I wanted to know, I'm the researcher, I would like to do the research on behavioral finance. For example, behavioral finance. Okay, what is my intention is? I would like to know the spending pattern of the customer, spending pattern of the investors, spending pattern of the general public. Okay, I am asking how you have spent your money. Immediately I cannot get correct answer. So what I can do is I can create some virtual situations. Say for example, just imagine that God has deposited 1 lakh rupees or 10 lakh rupees in your account. What you will do? Immediately you will say, I will spend 5 lakh rupees for some activity. I will spend 1 lakh rupees for some activity. I will spend some 50,000 rupees for some activity. You may say something. Okay. So this is the underlying motivation based on which you can collect some data. Normally you can use, there are different observation methods are there. One is personal observation. Personal observation in the sense, personally you can collect the data by observing the people, object or event or organization. Similarly, mechanical observation. What is mechanical observation? You can use any one other device. Either it could be a camera or either it could be any other mechanical device for collecting data. Similarly, let's take the third one. Say for example, personal observation. Then this is an example for personal observations. Okay, this is an example for mechanical observation. That is, your behavior pattern is observed by some mechanical device. Okay. Say for example, mechanical device means, say for example, on-site camera, sometimes a scanner, see optical scanner in a supermarket. When you go to the supermarket, your movement will be observed with the help of some optical scanners. Okay, so that means your eye movement might be captured. Okay, say for example, at the end of the day, they collect some data. How many customers visited the department store How many customers have focused their attention on a product X? How many customers have focused their attention on a product Y? Which product has been focused? Which product attracted more? So that means they may create a relationship. Okay. What is the sales? They may create a relationship. They may use, you can use the correlation. How many customers have visited? How many customers have focused their attention on a product X? Then whether this product has a fast moving or slow moving or non-moving, why this product has not moved, you can conduct some research. This is the application of the research. This is the application aspect of the research. Similarly, let's take, you can also collect data. There is observation. You can also use this observation method, that is audit. What is meant by the term audit? The researcher collects data by examining physical records or performing inventory analysis. Okay, let's take auditors. How they will do the auditing? They will collect the data. They will collect the data by examining the physical record based on the evidence. They will collect data. Okay, data are collected personally by the researchers. Okay, so this method is said to be audit method. See, this is an example for observation method, and this is the example for observation method and audit. Okay. Okay. Then I will clarify. I think one of the respondent asked a queries. Is there any logic? Okay. At the end, I will clarify all your queries with regard to the sampling method. Definitely, I will clarify your queries. Okay. Say for example, this is the next one, observation method, content analysis. Okay. What is this? Then the objective systematic. Say for example, what is the objectives of this observation method? Then simply they will identify the content. They will say for example, they will identify the content. Content means, say for example, they may identify the words or individual or themes or message from the particular object. Okay. Similarly, let's take trace analysis. What is trace analysis? Data collection is based on the physical traces or evidence or past behavior. For example, let's take you are a forest officer. You are a forest officer. You would like to identify. You are supposed to identify the tiger. How many tigers are residing in the particular forest? Okay. How you can collect the data based on the physical trace. Okay, footprints of the particular tiger or based on the evidence. For example, you are a history professor. How you can collect the primary data based on the evidence of the evidence, or you can also collect this data based on the past behavior of the particular persons. Okay, so these are the various methods used by the researchers for collecting the data. Okay, now before proceeding with further, just I would like to recapitulate what we discussed so far for better understanding. We have seen what is primary data. We have seen what is secondary data. Primary data are those data which are collected by the researcher for the first time. Secondary data are those data which are collected by somebody else. And now we are using the primary data and secondary data. Next, we have seen what are the conditions, what are the criteria are to be used by the researcher before using primary data. We have seen. Next, we have seen what are the uses of primary data. We have seen. Next, we have seen what are the different sources of primary data. We have seen. Next, let's take a secondary data. We have seen, not primary data, secondary data. Sorry. Next, we have seen primary data. Primary data can be collected by two different methods. One is a qualitative research, another one is a quantitative research. Okay, we have seen quantitative research, how primary data can be collected in case of quantitative research. Okay, let's take a quantitative research. Means we have seen two methods. One is a survey method, another one is a observation survey method, another one is observation method. Okay, so we have seen these two methods. Okay, now we are going to just I would like to discuss the qualitative research. Qualitative research. See, what is qualitative research? Certain things cannot be inferred. Certain things, say for example, before discussing qualitative research, see, First, we should know what is qualitative research and what is quantitative research. In case of quantitative research, we will distribute the questionnaire, or we may ask the questionnaire from the respondent. The respondents may give their opinion on the basis of some value or quantification. Say, for example, what's your opinion about coffee? You have asked this question. Okay. One person says excellent. That means you have assigned 5. Another one person says very good. You have assigned 4. That is a quantitative, quantitative research. Let's take a qualitative research. For example, you wanted to ask some sensitive questions. Questions. For example, what is the income pattern of the people? It's not possible. Similarly, let's take you like to collect some data from the child, whether the child means, for example, less than 5 years old, whether the child can fill the questionnaire. It is not possible. Child cannot fill the questionnaire. It is not at all possible. So if, for example, you have invented some new toys, you wanted to know the perception, then say, for example, child perception about the toys. How you can collect? That is not possible. In such circumstances, you can place the toys before the child. You can know the reactions based on which you can collect some data. That is a qualitative data. Sometimes, you can have something in your subconscious mind. Every human being has 2 types of mind. One is a conscious mind, another one is a subconscious mind. Okay. Let's say, for example, among the conscious and subconscious minds are very powerful. Whoever can control the subconscious mind, they can be a very good person. Okay. Now, let's take a people says conscious mind is like a showroom. Let's take subconscious mind. Subconscious mind is like a godown. All unwanted things will be stored in a godown. Say, for example, you wanted to know some sensitive information from the human being. It may be stored in the subconscious mind. You cannot collect this data. How you can collect? You create a situation. From this situation, how people have acted. You can collect the data. This is the beauty of qualitative data. So you can collect some inner feelings of the human being from the subconscious mind with the help of qualitative data. Similarly, let's take complex phenomena. Sometimes let's take some people may know that this is not good, but they will do something for others. Okay, because this is the complex phenomena. It's a complex relation because of the complex relationship. So I wanted to collect this data, this kind of data. How I can do with the help of? I can collect this data with the help of qualitative research. Now, what are the major difference between qualitative as well as quantitative research? What are the objectives of qualitative research? To gain a qualitative understanding of the underlying reasons and motivation. These are objectives of qualitative research. See, qualitative understanding or underlying reasons or underlying motivation of the particular respondents. What is quantitative research? What is the objectives of quantitative research? To quantify the data and generalize the results from the sample population to the rest of the population of the interest. This is the objectives of the quantitative research. That means you have collected some data from the respondent. There is sampled respondent. Okay. So based on the samples, you come to the conclusion that this is the results of this is the attitude of the entire population. This is the objectives of quantitative research. But what about sample size? In case of qualitative research, normally you may use small number of samples. Okay, it may be representative or it may not be representative. What is representative? Representative means when you select representative samples, it is a good. That means it will, wherever you select sample, it should represent true and fair view of the entire population. And that is a representative. What is representative? For example, I would like to collect some data with regard to bank selection criteria adopted by MBA students. If I have selected some people from MBA, it is a representative. Whereas I have selected some people from MCOM or MSc, it's not, even though he is a student, he is not a representative. So in case of qualitative research, small number of non-representative cases may be possible, because just our intention is to observe the behavior. It may be non-representative. Whereas let's take quantitative research. Then say for example, then sample size could be something higher. Similarly, we can also follow. We can also get this data from the representative cases. See the data collection method. In case of qualitative research, we may use unstructured data. The data is unstructured. Whereas let's take the quantitative research, the data or questionnaire is unstructured. Let's take a data analysis part in quantitative research. There we cannot use the non-statistical data. For example, data will be projected. How data will be projected, how data will be analyzed in case of qualitative research. First, we will reduce the data. Next, we will visualize the data. Whereas let's take quantitative data, we can use several quantitative data. Several statistical tools can be used. For example, we can use parametric test, non-parametric test can be used in case of quantitative research. What is the outcome of the qualitative research and what is the outcome of the quantitative research? The outcome of the qualitative research is to develop on initial understanding. That is the outcome of qualitative research. What is the outcome of quantitative research? Managerial decision making. Managerial decision making is the outcome of the quantitative research. Okay. What are the uses of qualitative data? For example, you can new product development. You can use the qualitative research for the new product development. Whenever we would like to collect the new product development, first we will go with idea generation. We can collect the idea. Accordingly, we can develop some new product. Similarly, you can also investigate current or potential product or service brand positioning and the market strategy. For example, you would like to know the brand awareness or brand positioning or marketing strategy. You can use the qualitative research. You can also collect the data related to strength and weakness of the products or brand. You can also understand the understanding the dynamics of purchase decision dynamics. Say for example, what is the retail purchase decision dynamics. Similarly, you can also exploring markets such as demographic and customer group. See, recently Tata, for 10 years back, Tata has introduced one new car, Tata Nano. It's a small car. How they can get this kind of idea? Only because of the qualitative research. You can also understand the perception of the company or the perception of the brand or perception of the category and product. Okay, let's take a qualitative research. Okay, you can collect the qualitative data through two different methods. One is a direct, non-disguised. Another one is indirect, disguised. What is disguised? Disguised means when you disclose your identity or when you disclose the purpose, it is said to be non-disguised. If you are not disclosing your identity or you are not disclosed your identity to the respondent, it is said to be disguised. Under non-disguised, you can collect data. There is qualitative data through two different methods. One is a focus group, another one is a depth interview. Let's take an indirect method. Indirect method means you will not disclose your purpose. Okay. Indirectly, you can collect some data. Say, for example, you can, under indirect, you have several methods. One is a projective technique. Another one is association technique, completion technique, construction technique, then expressive technique. There are two methods. Let's take a qualitative research. If you want to collect qualitative research related data, you can collect this data by two different methods. One is a direct method, another one is an indirect method. Under direct method, focus group will come. Another one is depth interview method will come. Okay. Under indirect, then qualitative data can be collected through projective technique, association technique, completion technique, construction technique, and expressive technique. Okay. What is focus group? What is focus group? Focus group. What is meant by the term focus group? A focus group is on interview conducted by the trained moderator among small group of respondents in a non-structured and natural manner. For example, what is focus group? For example, I would like to collect some data relating to my new product. So I should have trained some moderator. Moderator means that is a researcher. Okay. He will collect the data from the focus group. Normally, let's take a focus group. Focus group consists of 8 to 12 people interviewed by trained moderator to gain insight on the salient aspects of marketing problem by listening to a group of people from the appropriate target market. What is focus group? Focus group means the organization, the researcher will create or may constitute a group. What is the minimum size? Minimum 8. What is the maximum? Maximum is 12. Okay. So some issue will be given to the particular focus group. Then focus group is supposed to discuss. Then based on the discussion, the moderator or otherwise the moderator, the researcher will get some insight. The researcher will get some idea. The researcher may collect some data. This is focus. This is focus group. Focus group brings small group of people together for an interactive and spontaneous discussion of a particular topic or concept. Okay. You can also do the same thing through online focus group. There are normally focus group, either the focus, you can collect the qualitative data through focus group, that is offline as well as online. Next one is a depth interview. This is another one method. What is a depth interview? Depth interview means in case of focus group, minimum 8, maximum 12. Whereas in case of depth interview, only one expert will be identified. Only one expert will be identified. For example, I would like to know the economic situation of the country, and then one experts may be identified. The experts may be from SEBI, or the expert may be from Reserve Bank of India. It's like a television show. Okay, say for example, and one researcher, one person will ask several questions. Almost all the questions, unless depth questions, almost all the questions will be relating to the particular issue. Okay, based on the reaction, the respondents, the researcher may collect some data. Just we are going to apply the same thing in case of depth interview. Depth interview. Okay. In case of depth interview, just we have used one technique called symbolic analysis. What is symbolic analysis? Symbolic analysis attempt to analyze the symbolic meaning of the object by comparing them with their opposites. For example, you have asked what will happen if there is no, what will happen if there is no airplanes. Okay, when people are saying, say for example, I will go with the Google Meet or I will go with online meeting. In such circumstances, they can identify who are all the competitor for airline. Earlier, people are thinking that who are all the competitor for airline? Only airline. Now it's not an airline. Even let's take online platform like Google, Zoom, or several online we can interact with the people through several online devices. These are the competitors. These people are competitors. Okay. Similarly, let's take projective technique. Okay. This is the projective technique will comes under the indirect method. What is a projective technique? An unstructured or indirect form of questioning that encourages respondents to project their underlying motivations, beliefs, attitude, or feelings regarding the issues of the concerns. Okay, this is very, very important. For example, I would like to collect some data. Okay, I would like to know the underlying motivation of the particular respondent. I would like to know what is the underlying belief system. Belief system plays very, very important. We cannot change the belief system of the people immediately. I would like to know the attitude, or I would like to know the feelings of the particular person relating to the particular product or particular issue. How I can collect the data? I can collect the data through the projective technique. What is a projective technique? In a projective technique, respondents are asked to interpret the behavior of others. Okay. In interpreting the behavior of others, respondents indirectly project their own motivation, beliefs, attitude, or feelings into the situation. For example, you are asked a question: what's your opinion about alcohol? Okay, now people are consuming alcohol. There is consumption of alcohol keeps on increasing. Okay, so what's you wanted to know the particular person's motivations and the underlying motivations. So you have asked, what's your opinion? What's your underlying motivation about consumption of alcohol? When the person says no, it's a good. Everybody is taking alcohol. What is wrong in this? When he says, that means what? He is also fond of alcohol. He is also fond of this habits. Okay, this is a way of getting data. There is a projective technique. Okay, there are 4 forms of projective techniques we have used. One is association technique, word association technique. Next one is sentence completion technique, construction technique, and expressive technique. Okay, we will discuss each and every techniques. What is word association technique? In word association technique, respondents are presented with a list of words one at a time and asked to respond each with the first word that comes to a mind. For example, 10 or for example 10. Just imagine that your organization, you would like to give a name to your product. You don't know which product is to be given, so you have identified 15 products, 15 names. You can ask you can identify some of the respondents. You can give 15 names. You can ask to recall any 2 or 3 names. Normally, people might recall 1 or 2 names. That means what? This is the name. This name has been stored in the minds of the people. So this is the way you can collect data. This is said to be word association technique. In word association, respondents are presented with a list of words one at a time and asked to respond to each with first word that comes to mind. Okay, next one is sentence completion technique. What is sentence completion technique? In case of sentence completion techniques, okay. Say for example, one sentence will be given. When I think of shopping in a department store, which department store will comes to your mind? You may be asked to write which the department store, or otherwise the person who shops at Pantaloon is a intelligent. So sometimes people may say he is a wise person. So you can get the idea, that is underlying motivation, by way of sentence completion test. What is sentence completion test? Sentence completion test reveals hidden aspects about individual thoughts and individual feeling towards the object studied. So this is the example for sentence completion technique. Similarly, let's take, okay, we have seen the sentence completion technique. Okay, then you can also collect some data through the customers by way of story completion technique. What is story completion technique? Respondents are given part of the story, enough to direct attention to the particular topic, but not hint at the end. They are required to give the conclusion in their own word. I can give an example for story completion technique. And then Mr. Ramu is a hard worker. Oh, he feel very thirsty. Okay, he feel very thirsty and hungry. So he went nearby the restaurant. He placed the order. He is waiting for 45 minutes. No food came. In such circumstances, then after 50 minutes, the bearer is about to serve the food. In such circumstances, what is the reaction? What you will do? What Ramo will do? You can ask the question with the respondents. You can ask this kind of question with the respondents. Okay, you may ask the respondent to list at least 10 possible decisions or 10 possible outcomes. When you do this, this is an example for story completion. That means indirectly we can collect the behavior of other persons with the help of story completion technique. Okay. Similarly, we can also collect data through the construction technique. What is a construction technique? Just you will give a picture. Based on the picture, the respondents are asked to describe the series of picture of then. Say, for example, some picture will be given or some cartoon will be given. Based on the cartoon, the respondents are asked to give their own opinion. This is a construct technique. Normally, people might aware about this technique called a TAT. That is a thematic absorption test. Normally, one picture will be shown. Immediately, the respondents are asked to respond based on the picture. Okay. Next one is expressive technique, and this is a final technique with regard to the qualitative data collection under indirect method. One is expressive technique. What is expressive technique? In case of expressive technique, the respondents are presented with the verbal or visual situations and asked to relate the feelings and attitude towards other people to the situation. Say, for example, expressive technique. I can give an example. You would like to identify the spending pattern of the people. So you create some situation, virtual situation. Virtual situation means, say, for example, let's take a tour operator. You are a tour operator, or you are a theme park. You have a theme park. You wanted to know the spending habits of the people in the theme park. So what you can do is you can randomly identify people. You can create a visual situation. For example, if 1,000 God has deposited 1 lakh rupees to you, what you will do? Immediately the people will say, I will spend this much for this activity. I will spend this much for this activity. So this is the underlying activity. There is the underlying motivation. So based on which we can get some data. Similarly, you can also collect data through role playing. That is, in case of role playing, respondents are asked to play the role or assume the behavior of someone else. Okay. So based on their behavior, you can also identify whether the particular person, you can collect this kind of data, whether the particular person is autocratic or democratic or free rein. Finally, let's take a third person and technique. What is a third person technique? The respondent is presented with a verbal or visual situation, and the respondent is asked to relate the belief and attitude of a third person rather than directly expressing personal belief and attitude. The third person may be friend or neighbor or colleague or typical persons. What is the third person? What is meant by the term third person technique? Say, for example, you are giving some situation. Okay. Now you are asking what the persons will do during this situation. For example, not you, your friends, how your friends will behave, how your neighbors may behave, how your colleagues may behave during this situation. In such circumstances, then you can collect some data. Okay. So these are the various techniques used by the researchers for collecting qualitative data. Similarly, there are some other methods are there. Say, for example, ethnography. This is another one method. Under ethnographic, say, for example, the people will stay there. For example, you would like to collect some data from the tribal people. Then the researcher might stay there or stay along with the tribal people for 6 months or 1 year. They can collect some data. Similarly, case study method of data collection will comes under another one, qualitative data. What is case study? What is case study research? Case study research focuses on one or few cases in depth rather than studying many cases. Okay. You can say, for example, they may study one cases, or otherwise they may compare one case with another, one organization with another organization. Okay. Finally, let's take how qualitative data can be analyzed. Qualitative data can be analyzed by these three methods. But this is the outcome of analysis of qualitative data. One is a data reduction. Another one is a data. You can display the data. You can draw conclusion drawing and verifications. Okay. So these are the things I wanted to share with you with regard to the data collection method. I would like to discuss. I would like to discuss. I would like to discuss. I would like to recapitulate what we discussed.